Patrick Pace is, in my opinion, the definitive Cars Adventures original character. Created in the early spring of 2018, after I found myself with a duplicate of Charlie Checker when I bought the Dexter Hoover with Green Flag and Charlie Checker 2-pack, I thought it would be a fun idea to turn it into a police car, and I came up with a storyline where, due to Sheriff's age, he wanted to no longer be the police car of Radiator Springs, and so he hired a new one. Patrick Pace was a friend of Sarge's, who, in his first appearance, was an incredibly strict car who just kept on arresting miscellaneous cars. Over the years, Patrick has changed quite a bit. The fact that he's old friends with Sarge has been pretty much dropped from his character. The stern military attitude has been dropped as well, to give him a more laid-back personality, and the concept of Sheriff retiring from his role as police officer in Radiator Springs didn't stick around for long, as in Cars Adventures nowadays, he and Patrick Pace work together to be the police officers of the town. Patrick has gone through several different design iterations over the years, but the current Patrick Pace is one that I've been using ever since I bought a duplicate Charlie Checker in late 2022 and repainted it into a brand new Patrick Pace. You see, this is the original Patrick Pace. He's currently painted in purple to be based on his Protectors of Radiator Springs design. In 2019, in Cars Adventures, I introduced a group called the Protectors of Radiator Springs, who all had black and purple paint jobs, and I repainted Patrick's original black and silver paint job into a black, white, and purple one to match the Protectors theme. But while Lightning and Jackson Storm and several of the other characters that were Protectors had Protectors customs, I wasn't using them all the time, right? I would swap between the Protectors customs for Protectors episodes and the regular customs for regular episodes. Patrick had permanently been turned into his Protectors of Radiator Springs variant, which he stayed in for several years, which is why I eventually went out and bought another Charlie Checker so that I could have a new regular Patrick. At one point, Patrick lost his light bar, and that's a whole story. I'm not going to get into it right now, but Patrick appeared without his light bar for quite a while in Cars Adventures until I eventually found it, and it was worked into the story in some stupid joke where he lost it. I think at the zoo. I think a bulldozer accidentally knocked it off or something stupid like that. But actually, you might notice that despite me having two Patrick Paces, I only have one light bar. That's because I unfortunately still don't know where one of the Patrick light bars is. In order to fully paint Patrick, I have to remove the light bar and re-glue it. And I actually did not get around to gluing it back on when I made the new Patrick, so I ended up losing the light bar for the new Patrick shortly after I found the light bar of the original. And while I'm sure the new Patrick light bar is around somewhere, I've just been using the original Patrick light bar for the new Patrick for quite a while now. So to recap, old Patrick, new Patrick, old Patrick light bar on the new Patrick. And if I ever need to swap to the Protectors Patrick, then I will put this light bar back on this one. Okay? Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another review and to another birthday request here on the channel. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at Patrick Pace, a birthday request made by Jordan C. Productions. Thank you so much for the request, as always. I'm very excited to take a look at Patrick Pace. Like I said, I really think he's one of the standout Cars Adventures original characters. He's my own made-up Radiator Springs townie. I like that I was, I don't try to force original characters into Cars Adventures all that often, but I do like the concept that I came up with my own Radiator Springs character that can sort of hang out and live in the town. Anyway, he's got this nice stern expression, which I really like. It's much more unique than the original, where I simply painted over Charlie Checker's eyes, but as you can see, the 2018 Charlie Checker did have raised eyebrows, so it kind of made it hard to give him any other expression. But I really like how this looks. It looks very clean, very much like a modern custom of mine. The other Patrick is certainly starting to show its age. I have the RSPD logo there in silver. I actually gave Patrick a new coat of paint before doing this review. His roof had actually become pretty worn over time with quite a bit of paint missing, so I repainted that and also repainted the areas here and here on the sides of his windshield. And I also painted his mouth, so it looks a lot cleaner than it has lately. You can't really see it in most episodes, unless I'm doing super close-ups on Patrick, which is not a common occurrence, but I wanted to make sure he looked nice for his close-up here for the review. We've got the light bar, red, silver, and blue. I also repainted the red and blue on the light bar. I find myself doing that quite often. As a plastic piece, the paint wears off of it quite easily. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough silver paint to redo the light bar. I desperately need to get new silver paint. So I just redid the red and blue for now. Got police written here on the side. For quite a while, I used silver on the side of Patrick. For quite a while, I used silver whenever I needed white because my white paint is a pain to use. But nowadays, I always make sure I use white when I need white. Now, if you take off the light bar, actually, we don't have to take it off for you to see it. You may be able to spot the stripes on Charlie Checker. Yeah, you can sort of see the texturing for them there, even though they are fully painted over. Now, the interesting thing is, this is a Thailand Charlie Checker. This is a China one. You can see the assembly for the light bar actually changed. I much prefer this one. It was much easier to remove. Here, the light bar was much thicker and more firmly secured inside of the item, which actually made it kind of a pain to remove, and a small piece of plastic has kind of just been sticking up for a very long time. So again, while I was checking out Patrick before this review, repainting him, making sure he looked all nice, I did finally snip off that small piece of plastic so that the original light bar can fit onto him better. But it isn't secure up there, which is why I really need to glue it or tape it or something. That's actually on the wrong way. Oops. But it definitely stayed on quite a bit better on the original, I feel. You can see even the place where the plugs go into is completely different from Patrick to Patrick. I do prefer this one as the Patrick paste. It's just smoother and cleaner. I think the raised eyebrows really kind of ruin the look of this item because, like I said, it kind of boxes you into what expression he's supposed to have. But I do prefer how the older model secured the light bar on. Nothing much going on the back. I just painted over the pre-existing tail lights there. You can see I do need to do a bit more paint work on the back. You can see a bit of Charlie Checker blue showing through. There's a look at the other side. And on the base, Patrick Pace actually has a very cool Easter egg. He has this giant silver scrape, which is also on the original, as well as a painted base. Back in the day, I tried to paint my bases. Wow, his wheels are covered in white paint. Great. Yeah, back in the day, I painted in my bases. I don't do that anymore because Mattel doesn't, so I don't. Even though I always did enjoy painting in the bases. Anyway, yeah, both Patricks have this giant silver scrape on the base. You never really see it in the series, but in a Lap 1 episode, there was one season finale once where the Radiator Springs cars entered a demolition derby against Miss Fritter and everybody else. And Miss Fritter severely injures Patrick Pace, scraping him across his base, and you see that. I actually kind of sanded this down, I think with a thumbtack, which is not very safe, but I made it look more like a scrape. And then, of course, when I did the new Patrick, I made sure to keep that detail with the silver scar on the bottom there. So yeah, not something you ever really see on Patrick, but it is just a little tiny detail of the character that I wanted to make sure was consistent for the new variant. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you once again to Jordan C. Productions for the birthday request. I hope you have a great birthday. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.